Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me on their fight story with Igdalia. We have Dwayne, Manos de Piedras, Holman, professional Muay Thai fighter, joining us today. Dwayne, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you. How did you get your name, Manos de Piedras?
So my uncle got me into fighting. And he started me out with boxing first, and with amateur boxing, like obviously you wear headgear and all that stuff. At a young age, I established like punching power. Amateur boxing is hard to get knockouts, and amateur boxing I had 100 wins, and I had 35 wins by knockout. No, I'm sorry, I had 45 wins by knockout. So like that's where the hands of stone came in,
Mm.
and I'm Puerto Rican and black, so obviously you can't just say the hands of stone. You gotta put some flair on it. So la mano de piedra, that's what came in.
What inspired you to train martial arts?
I'm very, very close with my mom's side of the family. And my mom's side of the family, you either box or you wrestle. My mom's side of the family is from Paterson, New Jersey. So, like, my grandfather taught them at an early age, like, you have to defend yourself. Like, Paterson is a rough neighborhood. And then my uncle was like Superman to me. Me and my dad weren't really that close, like, coming up. So, like, my uncle, whatever he wanted to do, I wanted to do. So, at 4 years old, I saw him in his pro debut, and with boxing. So I was like, oh, I want to fight too. So, like, in true Puerto Rican machismo fashion, he's like, okay, papi, you want to fight, pero like, if I take you to the gym, it's no crying and no nothing. And he was like, I'll take you to the gym when you're 5. And he thought that I was gonna forget about it. And I turned 5, and I was like, "So what's up? We out? We going to the gym? Like, all right, like let's go." So he took me to the gym, and he put me in the ring to spar with like one of the toughest kids. Well, two of the toughest kids. My boy Victor Valenzuela. As a pro boxer right now, he's 8-4. And my boy Glenn Tapia, he won the NABF 154-pound world title and stuff like that in pro boxing. But at the time we were kids, so he put me in there to spar with them. And he was like, "Listen, if you cry or anything like that, like I'm taking you out. That's it. We're never coming back." So the first round I got like popped in the nose, and you see this big ass nose I got right here. So like I got popped in the nose, and it was like a crime scene. There was just blood everywhere. And I looked at him, and I looked back at my boy, and I was like, and like went nuts and started fighting. And then yeah. And then my uncle was just like, "All right, cool, we got a fighter on our hands." And then I started boxing, and then with amateur boxing, I had 100 wins, 25 losses, and then like just being a snot nosed roughneck kid, just like being in Patterson and back and forth between Patterson and Montclair. Um, I saw that my uncle wrestled as well, so I was like, "Shit, I want to fucking wrestle too." And I thought it was like WCW, like back in the day. So I was like, "I want to hit people with chairs and stuff. Let's do it." And then he got me into wrestling, and then I wrestled from 8 years old all through high school, all through college. I wrestled Division 1 for Lehigh for a little bit, and yeah, that was it. And it just took off from there. That was my fighting experience. I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
So you did boxing. You started off with boxing. How did you get into Muay Thai?
Like obviously with MMA should have naturally come easy to me, and it didn't. And I was like, shit, I'm getting kicked in the head. Like I was like, I'm getting kicked in the head, and guys are like fucking throwing up submissions, and like thank God I know how to wrestle, but I was like, I gotta figure this out. One of my close friends, his name is uh he did Muay Thai, and he taught the Muay Thai at one of the gyms that I was teaching like boxing and wrestling at. And then I was just like, yo, I want to work on my stand up and like get into this. So then I started doing that, and like the start of my career like isn't like a like I learned the hard way. So like
Mhm.
I was like I said, I was a roughneck, and I got family well off, and then I got family that's ripping and running the streets, and I wanted to be with the cool dudes. I wanted to be with the dudes that was ripping and running the streets. So like, and then finally, like him and my uncle came to me and were like, "Yo, dude, listen, like, you're no spring chicken. You know what I mean? Like, you're in your mid 20s. Like, we got to figure this out. It's either you're either gonna go all in with this, or you're not. Like, we got to figure something out." So I was like, "All right, cool." So I took a bunch of like smoker fights, and just was in the gym consistently, and then like one knockout turned into two, two turned into three, three turned into 10, and then next lion fight reached out to me, and obviously, Lion Fight is like
Hmm.
the biggest promotion that you can fight for, like in the state. So I was like, yeah, I want to fight for Lion Fight. Let's do this. So they put me up against I forget the kid's name. But you were there, like you took the
Yeah.
pictures for me for that fight and everything, and I was fucking lighting this kid up, and then the third round and then from there I was like, all right, once I heal, I'm gonna get back into it and start like kicking ass again. So I healed up. I went on a nice 4 fight win streak, and then Lou Neglia called me and was like, "You fight Muay Thai, but why don't you fight MMA and fight for the? I mean, not MMA. I'm sorry. Why don't you fight kickboxing and fight for the ISK North America's world title?" So I was like, "All right, cool, let's do it." Like I'm just one of those fighters that's game for anything. It's like I was just like, all right, I'm game. Let's get right. He offered me the world title. I fought for that strap. I ended up losing, unfortunately, which sucked. And then I bounced back. Then Lion Fight offered me another fight again, and I was like, sweet. So I fought Julian. I think his name is Julian Wynn.
Hmm.
And when I fought him, same thing. I ended up fracturing my foot again. So it's just like, damn, like I'm just having like a string of bad luck. I went from knocking everybody out, like I break my foot, then I get stopped, then I break my foot again, and it's like, what the hell? Like, why can't I get right? So then I took some time off, healed up again, and then Flex Fight Series was like, yo, we have the ISK North America's title up for grabs. You want to fight for it? And I was like, all right, this is going to be make or break. Like, I have to win this fight. And I fought the kid, and I ended up knocking him out in the third round, and the fight went viral. Like it was just an insane fight.
Hmm.
I see what happens when I put like my all into training and like I'm fully focused. All right, let's see where it goes. So I got offered to fight for the CFFC. CFFC usually sends guys to the UFC, so I was like, all right, let's do it. And I fought this past weekend for the CFFC. I was winning the fight, and he shot again, and I sprawled and fractured my knee. Like, yeah, it's like shit. Like every time I start to go on a win streak or like I start getting it going, like what happens is like bad luck. But take my wins with my losses. You know what I mean? Like it's a part of the territory. The only person that ever went undefeated was Rocky Marciano and Floyd Mayweather. Other than that, everybody takes an L. It's just a part of my story, Bill's character. That's it.
Yeah. Yes, it does. How has martial arts impacted your life?
Martial arts impacted my life a lot. If I didn't have martial arts, I'd probably still be ripping and running the streets, doing a lot of stupid stuff. Like martial arts helped me realize my potential more than anything, and it was just
Mhm.
like, like why am I trying to be Mr. Tough Guy and be out here in the streets? Like I had a full scholarship to Lehigh, which is a Division I school, but besides like being Division I, it's a great like academic school. So obviously I'm not a dummy and I'm far from stupid. So it's just like what the fuck? Like why am I wasting my time? Excuse my language, I'm sorry. But it's just why am I wasting my time trying to like keep up with these thugs who have nothing going for themselves? Like
Mhm.
so martial arts made me realize a lot, like my potential and everything and just help me balance out life.
Is there a
So
fight
that's
that
how it goes.
stands
Yeah,
out the most?
there's a couple. The fight with Julian Wynn. Uh,
Yeah.
he like I love that kid to death. He's awesome. I don't have a problem with any of the guys that I fought with. So I want to let that be clear. So that fight stands out to me just because I got injured. And then there's this kid Rick Schaefer who fight Flex Fight Series or whatever, and he
Hmm.
just won like their international title. So like every time I was supposed to fight him, one, he won. We were supposed to fight at 145. I am not a 45er. I am a 135er. Like that is my weight class. 145 is huge for me.
Hmm.
But like I was scheduled to fight him for Lou Neglia, and I ended up getting injured that fight. Then I was supposed to fight him again for Lou Neglia, and I ended up getting arrested that fight, which
How
was
did that
not to
happen?
my fault. So my dad had a warrant out for his arrest as junior, and my
Oh,
dad is
that's right. You
senior.
told
So
me.
like the cops just didn't do their due diligence. So I got pulled over and like, yeah, excuse me, sir, come with us. I'm like, no, I'm not going with you. Like not at all. So I was supposed to fight him then. That fight ended up getting canceled because I spent the night in jail for my father's dumbass. And then the third and final time that I was supposed to fight him, I was going through a custody battle for my sons. And then like when I did finally run into him, I went to go apologize, and he kind of was on some like tough Tony type stuff. You know what I mean? He
Mhm.
was like, "I'm not fucking shaking your not a man." I was mad about it. I'm like, dude, we're getting paid like $600 to fight. Why are you so mad? Like, I didn't stop your paycheck. Like, you ended up fighting. You probably made some money at like what we were supposed to get paid to fight. Like, what the fuck does it matter? And I'm not even in your
Mhm.
weight class. So like, those fights stand out to me because like one, I want to get a rematch with Julian, and then like with Rick, I just kind of like I feel bad, like I owe this kid a fucking fight. You know what I mean? Like he's so
Yeah.
like butthurt about it. Like I owe him a fight. Like I'm like sorry, dude. Like even if I lose, like I'm like all right, cool, bro. Like finally you got this notch under your belt. Like I'm proud of you. Congratulations. Like whatever. Like you know. Like so, I feel like I owe it to him because like all three fights, like I get the frustration, like he's training his ass off and he's getting ready
Yeah.
for a fight, and then something ends up happening. Like I get all that, but it's just like, dude, like, we weren't making $1 million on this fight. Like, why are you so upset? It's like we're not fighting. We're not on pay-per-view. We're not getting paid for pay-per-view sales. We're not making like 50% of ticket sales. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck does it matter? Like, why are you so upset, bro? Those are my two fights. Again, like I said, I take my wins with my losses. So if you
Yeah.
beat me, cool, kudos to you. Like I'm
Yeah.
still doing my thing. I have my own apartment. I have a great fiance. I have two wonderful kids. I have really good
Mhm.
friends. You know, all that stuff. Like I said, I'm doing this podcast and I'm here at my best friend's house right now. So that's how that goes. Right, say what's up, bro. So that's how that goes. You know, I got good friends. Life is good. I
That's the best
yeah,
way to be,
yeah,
just at
exactly.
peace and enjoying life.
Yeah, exactly. Like I listen. I went from uh, living a life of not realizing if I was going to make it into my 30s
Mhm.
to now like I'm a teacher at a school. I work with
Nice.
special needs kids, sixth to eighth grade, and I own my own gym. Like
Mhm.
I have no complaints. If I was to stop fighting tomorrow, like I'm good. I my sons are great. My sons are amazing. Like I'm gonna be rich regardless. My son is nice in baseball, so like you know the contracts in that are amazing. So that little fucker's gonna do something. And then my 4-year-old is built like a linebacker, so football is the way to go with him.
You're all set. The family's set.
Yeah,
You're good.
yeah, I'm straight. I'm good either way. I'm okay.
On your whole career,
Mhm.
Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA, if you could go back and change anything, would you?
So if I could go back and change anything, I would take my training more serious. Instead of trying to be like the cool tough guy and all that other stuff or
Mhm.
whatever, and the person who just says like who's just content with being a professional athlete, I would go back and I wouldn't care about partying or hanging out and all that stuff. Knowing what I know now, the money is going to come eventually. So like I would literally just like live in the gym. So my thing was like I would only train when I had a fight coming up, and
Mhm.
even then it was still kind of like I was half-ass training. So
Mhm.
like I was beating guys training 2, 3 times a week. So imagine what I can do when I train like every day of the week. Like I was only unlocking like half of my potential. Now
Mhm.
I'm like fully tapped in. But it just sucks because I'm fully tapped in at 34 years old. So it's like I know my window is closing. I don't want to be that guy that's 40 and still trying to fucking I got a chance. Ugh. Like I don't want to be that guy. Like that's not me at all.
Are
You
you
know what I
sure?
mean? Yeah, I'm completely positive. Hell, like I told you, just 3 fights in a row. Like I broke my foot, I broke my hand, I fucking fractured my knee. Like bones are starting to crack. I remember before I could jump in the ring for like a sparring session and not have to worry about like warming up. Now I'm like, "Ah, I gotta stretch out for a second. Give me 20 minutes. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay.
What can we look forward with you in your career?
Look forward to with me in my career. This last fight that I just had for the CFFC, I'm in talks with Aries Garcia, who's the matchmaker. I'm trying to get a rematch with this kid because he didn't beat me. I fractured my knee, so like I want to get a rematch with him. Honestly, I after that I really don't know. Like I'm just letting the chips fall where they fall. I've said a bunch of times like, oh, I'm going to make it to the UFC, or I'm going to sign to Bellator, or I'm going to go for a run with Muay Thai and kickboxing. Like, and every time I predict something, like a freak accident happens or something, some bullshit happens. So like at this point in time, I'm just like I'm letting the chips fall where they fall, and if I retire, I retire. If I can get another fight, then I'm gonna take another fight. You know, I'm just gonna take it one step at a time.
Do you have a preference on which fight would be next? Kickboxing, MMA, Muay Thai?
It's definitely gonna be an MMA fight for sure, but really honestly, I don't care. Again, like I said, I love fighting, and
Hmm.
I love martial arts, and I love the sport. Fighting comes easy to me. Fighting
Hmm.
is nothing. I come from a fighting family, and like I was just born into this. Like
Hmm.
throwing a punch, I can probably throw a punch better than I can tie my shoes. So that's how that goes.
Before we conclude, do you have anything else that you would like to share? Any shout outs or anything?
Shout out to Prime Elite Management. Sean Rockwell is dopest manager around. Really great guy. Shout out to my uncle Haran Dedios, HD Boxing. He's been my coach since I was a kid. North South BJJ. Adam Peterson, my coach. My family, my girl Demi, and my two sons Xavier and Ezekiel, and that's about it. Just big things are to come, and I hope you guys just stay tuned and continue watching me grow as a man and grow in this sport.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Iggy. You're awesome. Love ya. Peace and hair grease.